If you're not going to show up properly, don't. Just because I had the idea doesn't mean that I need to have ownership over it. It could be, it's not going to get easier. You're just going to get stronger. But not everyone is an entrepreneur. Some people are meant to work 9 to 5 until it makes it so unattainable. Also, by not sharing the difficulties of entrepreneurship on a daily, most of people who are entrepreneurs, both in South Africa and abroad and continentally, it's more of
pat. It's pat on brands. Watch how you branded, man. A pat on the back is a pat from the man. Better be branded, man. A pat from the pat is a pat on the.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Pat on Brands podcast with me, Pat Mahlangu. Today, another one bites the dust. We have a very special guest today. Somehow, you might have come across her content when she talks about entrepreneurship, or when she asks you, did you post about your business today? She's the Beyoncé of Branding.
Right.
Yeah, man. Amanda Sibiya.
That's right.
AKA Born into Fame.
I'm born into fame. I made myself famous.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you featured on episode 8 of Born into Fame.
No.
I'm kidding.
Hey, imagine. Like who?
Yeah, just teasing. Amanda Sibiya, welcome to the Pat on Brands podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Long overdue, I think.
Long overdue. You know, we're starting to sound like monotonous because every guest, it takes
They say
time.
the same thing.
You know, we caught you. You guys are very busy people. You hardly have time for anything in life, you know. But somehow you find it to come here to the Pat on Brands podcast.
Industry.
Amanda Sibiya, for those Babas are waiting, I think this episode is also dedicated to those that have seen your content, engage with you, but don't really know who Amanda Sibiya is. Kaizu otha somewhere. Yes.
Exactly. I mean, that's it.
You're also born in California?
Yeah.
If there's one thing we have in common, we both born in California. You see the best in branding.
Exactly. California.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just a citizen of this country, you know.
Don't you?
One with the Republic. I am a brand strategist and entrepreneur, an award-winning entrepreneur. Let me squeeze that in also.
Which one? Which award?
It's not a Yoba. It should have been.
Yes.
Not a Yoba yet.
Yeah.
But it was the Santa Woman of the Future Award last year.
Wow, that's amazing.
It came with money, so that's the niceness of it. You know? Yeah. Kopang chelete.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just love what I do. I do what I love on a daily, but I love to laugh. I love life itself.
Yeah.
I think entrepreneurship is not who I am, it's just what I do.
Wow. I mean, growing up in Peli, is that something that you always wanted to do, like work with brands?
Nope. I had no idea it was even an option. You know, when you grow up with the parents that you have, I either think you're going to be an accountant, a doctor, police, teacher.
Not even an actress?
Not even an actress. Believe it or not even an actress.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, really, when I was growing up. It was just...
So you just wing it?
I did just wing it. I think when I started my business in 2014, I didn't know I was starting a business. I didn't know it was called entrepreneurship or business ownership.
But I think 2014, if we, take a step back, it was a time when this entrepreneurship was still sort of bubbling under.
Yeah.
You know, people were starting to talk about it, but not as they do today.
Yeah,
it wasn't at a massive scale. So you are just pursuing your passion?
I was just pursuing my passion. I thought we were just solving a problem. Like, oh, here's a problem. We can solve it. We're the best people to solve it. Let's solve it. So it was really more important to solve a problem than it is to call myself CEO and founder. I don't even call myself even till this day. I don't call myself that. But I was just solving a problem. We were just solving a problem at the time. But I didn't know it was called entrepreneurship. Only later on, I was like, oh, actually, businesswoman must have limo.
Yes, let me enter also for competitions and awards.
And that was only much later also. Much later in my journey. Initially, it was just like doing what I got to do on a daily to solve this problem.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, quite literally jumping off a cliff and figuring my way down. That's just what it was.
The classical interpretation of
it really is. It honestly, quite literally was that. I can't even bring up another example to say this is what my journey was like. We were just jumping off a cliff, broke, young, no responsibility.
Yeah.
No kids, no car, no assets. We were just like, it was easier because we were younger. Absolutely. And I think people who go into entrepreneurship later, it's harder because you have more responsibilities.
Absolutely.
Back then, I could just say, Mama, transport this so I can go to the office.
Yeah.
But then I didn't have to pay no school fees. I'd go back home and eat supper at home.
Yeah.
Lunch, there was no responsibility. It made it easier to jump off that cliff.
And I think, you're right. I mean, if you're to start now, it's a different ball game in your 30s.
Yeah, because you've got responsibilities. Also, ideally, you don't want to live at home, so you've got rent or you've got a bond to pay, you've got a car to pay off. Yeah. Like, there's just so many things. Also, the older you get, the more you need and the more you need to pay for. We're like working for a living at this point.
Yeah, especially in this economy.
And the living is not cheap. So
you jumped off the cliff. As you're going down, obviously you have to stabilize and you have to, adjust the wings. And, but also you make some mistakes.
You absolutely do.
What did you say has been your biggest mistake as you were?
I think not knowing how to handle money was my biggest mistake. Because you are young, when you see money, you want to spend it. Also because I thought
it was a guy thing.
No.
You ladies in business, you're focused.
No.
You're not spending.
Sorry. You see that, you pass by, you see this shoe, you're like, one day. When the money comes, one day becomes day one.
Wow.
So it's money, really that money, handling money, knowing how to handle it, knowing how to separate business money, personal money. I think it's a background thing as well. So when you come from a background that is not wealthy and you don't have trust fund parents.
But also when you come from Pretoria, where wearing an expensive shoe is more important.
I know.
Or wearing expensive clothes. No, in particular, it's more important.
For some, not all of us.
I'm in Peli.
Come on.
I mean, Mami Lodi.
No, that's Mami Lodi. Leave Peli out of this.
I'm in Peli.
Leave us Pelians out of
it. You guys love, Pretoria. Actually, obviously, which we're going to talk about branding and brands, but Pretoria, I know their love for branded clothing.
We love, a good expensive thing, even though
where do you think it comes from?
I really don't know. I think it's a background thing. When you grow up not being able to afford something, the minute you can afford it, you want to get it, mainly because you want to look like you've made it. I think it's really just a perception thing, and branding is perception. So I think as people, we want to brand ourselves in a particular way that other people will be envious of us. Which is honestly,
I remember this one time. So my grandmother used to stay in. She still does. In that side, Pretoria North.
Yeah.
And I remember wearing a 2-piece. Yeah, Mr. Price.
No, we could listen. Yeah.
Mr. Price is an RT.
Yeah.
Hey, why is it wearing?
Wow, they did you dirty.
Remember when Jet used to have a sub-brand called Network?
Yes.
But a phone ain't a network. People from Victoria.
No, we are our own comedians, honestly. I think everyone there has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we love it.
Yeah, so brands run the world. Now you work with brands.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurs, branding,
yeah, it's a last thought, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. It should be like your first thought, because I think the process of branding allows you to uncover so many things about your business as well, not just as a brand, that I think they take for granted what branding can offer to their businesses, as opposed to just a cute logo. And unfortunately, that's just, branding is not a logo.
Obviously, I guess that's our branding question. To you. Why is branding so important?
Yeah.
Particularly for small businesses,
I think branding is important for small businesses for the same reasons it's important for big businesses. And segmenting it into big and small. Obviously, they've got more budget. They've got, they can do more with whatever they do in terms of branding. A smaller business might not have, the luxury of having that budget. But I think branding is important because sales is important. And because marketing is important. Branding is important for the same reason, because it drives sales. I think people look at branding as, I only look this way to look this way. Branding has a goal. The goal is to, at the end of the day, being able to connect to your audience or your target and being able to make sales at the end of the day. The bottom line of every business
is to make money.
And branding helps you make money in that way. So because you can't see it as a direct impact thing, you think, get label on, I'll do it last.
I'll do it last.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, someone is watching this episode and say, but it's a budget, and you say branding is important.
Yeah.
And it can help me or help my business grow. It can make us, money in the long run. But, okay, where can I start?
Yeah.
From where I'm sitting right now, what can I do, immediately, that won't cost me as much, but also will help me get a step closer to building
I
a
think
brand.
step one is joining Amanda's masterclass.
Okay. Here we are.
Perhaps, that's where to start.
Yeah.
But I think more than that, it's just educating yourself on the fact that they're watching this podcast or this episode is step one.
Of course.
So that you understand what branding is not, so that you can empower yourself as well for your business. And I don't think for small businesses, you need to hire a brand strategist, from the get-go, because also I think there's this assumption that it's going to cost me 30,000 that I don't have.
Yeah.
But I think there are small things that you can do watching this podcast. Teaching yourself about what the basics of branding is can really help you to make the right decisions in terms of branding decisions within your business. Does this logo communicate to my target audience? And for me, branding, the exercise of branding is literally delving into who your target audience is, so much so that you know what makes them buy, so that you know the perception around your brand that you need to build. And the most important thing that you could start by doing is just knowing your target audience, like you even know what they had for breakfast. Know them so much that it makes it easier for you to make branding decisions, even without a brand strategist. I don't think you need me from the get-go if you can't afford it. But I think just educate yourself enough so that when you get to a certain point, it becomes easier for you to be able to make that investment. Because it is an investment. It's not just spending money. It's an investment to the growth of your business and is important.
Would you say you're affordable?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I'm affordable to those who are just started their business yesterday.
Yeah.
Who are bootstrapping it.
Yeah.
Who don't understand the value of branding. But I'm very affordable to those who understand the value of branding, because you are not going to put a price to it. So if you still think, branding, I'm not for you.
Yeah.
You're not going to afford me. Even if I said it's R2, you're going to think it's too expensive.
Of course.
But if you understand the value of branding, if I tell you it's 15,000 Rand, you're going to think I'm cheap. Because you understand the value.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm affordable to a person who doesn't understand its value and is still like proper bootstrapping and they want to focus on everything else but branding.
Got you.
Yeah.
You spoke about Amanda masterclasses.
So we do run, I facilitate them, but they're called Brand Building 101 masterclasses done by Branding Africa, which is my agency.
Yeah.
It's really just 101, the basics of branding, so that you can empower yourself to know how to brand your company, even though you don't necessarily have the 50,000 Rand budget. And when you get to that budget, you'll also come back and say, listen, you helped me. So now let's work on this. Yeah.
Did you post about a business today?
Not today, it's Saturday. I'll post on Monday. I don't post on weekends.
Yeah, but you don't get where I'm coming from with that piece of content.
Yeah.
You know, how did it come about? I mean, obviously, the social media now, I think it's growing every day, and you just want to also make the entrepreneurship journey less lonely and a bit fun.
Yeah.
You know, because we all know it can get really tough and very serious. But you found a way to use humor a bit and just to make, entrepreneurship and branding more relatable. How did that come about?
I don't know.
I know your mom is an actress.
That's why I born into fame. Yeah.
Did you want to emulate your mom by being a social media actress?
It came from, you know what? I think it just came from frustration. Because I think we like gatekeep entrepreneurship as those who are entrepreneurs already or who are already.
Really?
I think so.
How?
And we gatekeep it or we red tape it by making it seem difficult to get into. Honestly. Like people who are entrepreneurs, successful, those podcasts, not this one. No?
Okay.
This one. But like those podcasts, read 12 books by 5 a.m., 5 a.m. club, do this, do that.
Yeah.
It makes it so unattainable. Also, by not sharing the difficulties of entrepreneurship on a daily, you're not making it seem unattainable. You're not telling me how you made it. You're just telling me you made it. Yeah. And that doesn't help me. And most of people who are entrepreneurs, both in South Africa and abroad and continentally, it's more of just showing you how I make it. Okay, day in the life of whatever entrepreneur, 6-figure. I'm like, okay, how did you get there? Yeah. And I think by not sharing that information, we gatekeep. And we make it intimidating for anyone else to get into. Yeah. And it's like, I don't even know if I can ask this person how they made it. Because we're so far, suits and and it's like
we are in big offices.
Yeah, and I'm not saying don't share that.
Chauffeured around in BMW 7 Series.
You see what I mean? Though there is that side of entrepreneurship when you get to that level, but there's also the other side.
If you think about it, that level is sort of businessman level because no one starts out
like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you start out, you perform 7 functions. Your own PA, your own marketer, your own everything. You know what I mean? And probably still drive a small car if you're lucky.
Yeah. If you're not combing.
Exactly. Otherwise you are Ubering around or you're combing. Yeah. That's where most of us sort of
But that's where my issue is. Why are we not sharing that part of it? Why don't you share it? Like, fine, it's not cute. I mean, it's not glamorous.
You're a branding expert, it's part of, a perception. Image, a perception creation.
My problem is that image. I don't like that image because, and that's for the same reason why I don't call myself CEO and founder. I think if you've ever gotten an email from me, it says lady in charge because I'm just the lady in charge, not the exactly. But also calling myself CEO is under the assumption that there's like CFO, CMO, and I'm the chief of the executives. I'm the only executive at the moment. I'm my own chief at this point.
Yo, you came here to podcast.
Like, stop this thing. I know, you know what? Speak it into existence. The universe will whatever. Yeah. No, come on. Yeah. But I think we intimidate so many other people by saying that. And it's not a bad thing to dream and say, one day, can you go CEO and founder of whatever? Yeah. That's good. Do that. But I think we have a responsibility as people who are already entrepreneurs, brand strategists, anyone who is in the creative industry or in any industry at that, we have a responsibility to make it not look easier, but share the truths of that industry. If you want to be an entrepreneur, I have the responsibility of telling you, these are the good parts, these are the bad parts. You still want to do it? Then you can make an informed decision from there. When I started, I knew nothing and I wasn't expecting anyone to tell me, but I wish I had an Amanda who would tell you that, hi, today, sorry, it's not happening. And I want to look up to someone who is not only relatable, but authentic in their experience. And I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs and strategists, people who are in branding, who are not authentic to the experience by wanting to look a certain way. And at the end of the day, you're cheating yourself, not only other people.
But then again, when did you start realizing that which you're doing has an impact?
I think from the DMs, hey? Like,
so you get DMs?
Listen, slide into my DM. And I respond to every single DM.
Oh, yeah?
Every single DM, even if it's...
What is the weirdest
DM
goodness. You ever got?
Like marriage proposals.
Oh! Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. Listen, give me 2 kids, whatever. I'm like, I'm a kid myself, first of all.
And how do you respond to that?
I mean, I'd say respectfully, no.
Okay.
Instead of saying, buzz off, block, whatever.
Have you ever received a holiday request to say?
Yeah, there's a guy who offered me to go to Namibia at some point. It's like, hey, you should come, we'll go to whatever. Not only that, I think there's one Dubai. Like,
oh, Dubai!
I was considering that one.
Yeah. So people slide into your DMs and say, hey, Amanda, we love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or that piece of content you shared the other day really resonated with me.
It's really that. It's really that. And I think more than just what I post on my timeline, it's really like on my stories on a daily. I share whatever is on my mind at the time. And sometimes I don't feel like working on a specific day. I think this week on Thursday, I was like, I have no energy and capacity to work. And I did say that I was going to go do my nails, and that's what I did. I went to do my nails, came back, saw the emails, it stressed me. I closed my laptop. And, I binge watched Love is Blind UK. And I honestly think that needs to be shared more, because I got so many DMs of people saying, oh my goodness, I thought that you were just showing up every single day, working hard, and I never thought you had a bad day. And I'm like, bad days exist. I just don't let that day or the bad moment within the day kind of dictate the whole day as well. So I think people in the DMs who resonate so much with what I say, it honestly pushes me to never stop.
I mean, I just want to double tap on that feeling, like working, There's 2 different schools of thought here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one that do not be controlled by your feelings. You must keep
persevere.
On. Exactly, and press on.
Yeah.
There's one, obviously, on the other hand, that says, if you don't feel like doing it, it's just, But then again, maybe there's a third one in the middle that says, hey, just balance it out.
Yeah.
Because for most parts, in reality, you're not going to feel like doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Because you just want to watch Love is Blind UK the whole time.
Yeah.
And have popcorn, whatever else that you enjoy eating.
Yeah. There is a balance. And I'll tell you why it's necessary to have that balance.
Yeah.
Because as much as I didn't feel like working on the day, I do have staff who works. And it's not like work is not being done at all. So you need to kind of look at where you are and not just say...
the perks of being a boss.
No. There's no perks, okay? Okay, there are perks, but you still have to pay salaries, which sucks. But...
what people do not understand. Come the 28th.
Listen, you are sweating.
If you pay your people last day of the month...
You're sweating.
You're
the last one to get paid also.
Or sometimes never get paid.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But I think that's the benefit of it, of course. But I think someone needs to be able to discern, can I take this day off? Not necessarily off, but can I afford to slack off today? Because the thing is, work was still being done on my end, even though I decided on that day to cancel all my meetings and not show up for work. But work was still being done. And for someone who does not have that luxury, your decision to do that might be affected, it might affect your business a bit more than mine would. But I think it's important to listen to yourself, because you're no good to your business if you're not good. If you're not going to show up.
Come in here and shout at people.
Exactly. If you're not going to show up properly, don't. Because at the end of the day, it impacts your whole team.
Absolutely.
So I think discern heavily if you can do something or not. And that's the one main reason why I'm against motivation, because motivation wears off. Someone has to have discipline. If you've got the discipline to wake up on a daily, today I must wake up, whether I feel like it or not, do it. That's discipline. Motivation is just like a little match spark and it dies off. If I motivate you to work today, that's just going to last for today, but you have to build the discipline over time. So as much as on that day, I was like, I really cannot work, but I have the discipline to show up the next day. And you have to do that consistently until you can afford a big team and not go to work every day.
As an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur. But you're always working anyway, in your mind.
Yeah, your mind, I mean, actually, my next question was going to be, like, is you do have those days you don't feel like working, but yet sometimes, do you ever switch off?
No. What's that? What's switching off?
Yeah.
And I think I was thinking about it yesterday. It's like being a creative, just being an entrepreneur, is that you're running a business at the moment. You might be running Lerato agency at the moment, but you've got so many other business ideas in your mind that you want to pursue. It's like, if I just pursued this today, I could be, making an impact in the next 2 years or whatever. But you can't necessarily neglect what you're currently doing. Yeah. And your mind is always working. What can we do to grow? Whatever your goals are, has the goalpost moved? Am I still in the same place? Like, your mind is constantly working. It never switches off.
Sure.
But I've tried to make it switch off on weekends. But
have you ever done the Enneagram test?
I have, but I forgot which personality. Yeah.
I'm a 7.
Really?
Straight 7. Which I think is a typical personality for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, true. Very analytical, always thinking.
Always, always coming up with ideas. So the danger with being a 7 is that you are always excited by starting new things.
Yeah.
Then when the excitement wears off,
Yeah.
And that's almost like, and I think having done that test, the reason I'm mentioning it is that there's a time when my mind is running wild, many ideas, big ideas, small ideas, and wanting to pursue. Because also, if you look at it, for the past, let's say 3 years, 4 years, I've been starting something new every year.
That is crazy.
But now the danger is you don't give enough time and attention to
all
each
of these things. Yeah.
And ultimately, you sort of, things just level out.
Yeah.
Or you actually not living, either is going to suffer.
Yeah.
One of the 3,
suffer.
one of the 4
Yeah.
is going to suffer. And the impact may be detrimental. So now, having that sort of awareness, now I even caution myself.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And also develop that discipline, not to act on
any
new
impulse,
shiny idea that I come up with.
I mean, those impulses are great and those ideas are fantastic. I think it's always good to write them down for like a later day when you actually have the capacity to kind of do it. Yeah. And I think the one thing that I've had to learn is that not all ideas are good, but not all ideas are meant to be pursued by me. So if I have a good idea, there might be someone else who is, best and has the resources, the capacity, everything to pursue and make sure this idea flourishes. Just because I had the idea doesn't mean that I need to have ownership over it. It could be better for someone else to pursue it. It doesn't have to be me all the time. So I'm like, the ideas are great. And you might find that people who are great ideators, they come up with the most beautiful things. Yeah. But doesn't mean you have to pursue it all the time. Like, hand the idea over to someone else. Like, I think the one thing about entrepreneurs is that we have such ownership over our thoughts, ownership over our ideas. And it's detrimental to ourselves because, I don't think our thoughts are our own in that case. If there's an idea and if there's something that kind of God put in your heart, it's not always your responsibility to act on it. It might be your responsibility to hand it over. It might be your responsibility to, do something else in the idea. But we should not have ownership of our ideas like the way we do. Like, we literally
but then how do you
held it hostage.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking it takes a certain level of self-awareness to be able to say, this is not for me. Or this will be better executed by XYZ. Yeah. How do you develop that awareness? Because it sounds like, I mean,
yeah.
you do, it seems like you do a lot of self-work.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
How?
Because that's where discipline comes in as well. And I think being aware of where you are, and I think that's the importance of vision. Like when you have vision, it brings discipline to your decision making.
Gotcha.
And when you have a specific vision for your life, you will not decide to act on every impulse. Like if there's an impulse to, start a water bottle company or open a strip club, I'm not going to just act on the impulse just because someone said whispered in my ear that strip clubs make money. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. It's not that every idea is good. Not every idea is worth pursuing, but also not all ideas are meant to be pursued by you. So I think it's very necessary to be self-aware as an entrepreneur, but self-awareness is not a destination. It's a continuous thing that you do on a daily, because as people, we evolve and we're meant to evolve. The same person, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago or even just yesterday. Honestly, I'm not the same person. And that evolving allows you to have more discipline with yourself and mostly discipline with your thoughts.
Sure. I mean, you've been in the game for 10 years. I mean, literally, 10 years.
Goodness, I'm just 21, okay?
I mean, at some point, you got sued.
Yeah, that was cute. Jokes, it was not.
Yeah.
Got sued, I think, was it 2016?
You're 2 years in.
Yeah, actually. I know it could have been 2017, somewhere there.
Yeah, early on.
Yeah, probably but it was early into our business. We got sued by our investors.
Sure.
So that, I mean, you think that when an investor comes into your life, they're meant to make your life easy. They're meant to give you money and, you'll be flourishing, millionaire by year 2. Jokes was on me, It was a very interesting experience, but it was I was like wide-eyed the whole time because I was like, oh, wow, this happens? It was like a first-time experience for me to the point where it excited me. You are a
first-generation entrepreneur, right?
Yes. But formal entrepreneur,
yes,
I'd say. Family, my family are filled with entrepreneurs, but not in the formal sense.
Got you.
They're industrial people. My grandmother runs an orphanage, which is social entrepreneurship. Yeah. But it wasn't modeled as in like sitting at a office computer. So I'd say first generation in that sense.
Yeah, got you.
But not the first one to run anything.
First one to pay rent for an office space.
Hey, I don't want to pay. I need free office space, if anyone.
Yeah. So that experience, I mean, what did you learn?
I was so wide-eyed. I learned that not everyone's intentions are like good.
Sure.
I mean, not even people who are giving you money. You're thinking, you're giving me money, you must love me. You must love this idea that I have.
Yeah.
And though that might have been, what you thought in the beginning, but some relationships break, and that's okay. And I think the second biggest lesson that I learned from that experience is that not all relationships are meant to last forever. And not only just romantic relationships, but business relationships as well. And my business partner at the time, we split. I mean, as much as there was a bit of a rift even before being sued, but being sued kind of even, opened a chasm of like, listen, at this point, this is not going to work out. Mediation after mediation, it still kind of didn't work out. But I think it's important to know when to let go. So discernment is very important for any entrepreneur at any time, to know when to let go. And I think I knew I had to let go months before, but I didn't. Like, when you build something, this is your child. You're like, oh, how am I supposed to let go of this thing? Yeah. And the hardest lesson was to know that not all relationships are meant to last. Some are seasonal, and that's okay. But you don't know it then. You only know like 5 years later that, that was seasonal. Yeah. But at the time, it was painful.
For me personally, right? I'm such a lover,
not a fighter.
Not a fighter, of partnership and us building together, and particularly I'd say even just Black entrepreneurs. I admire I'd say the likes of, for example, Zebu and Veli at Avatar, what they've built and they've managed to corporatize. And my prayer is that they never separate, because it'll be such a, how can I put it, a disappointment.
It would be
in a way, but at the same time, just this week, I'm not sure if you're watching the news, when Floyd Chibambu.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, people were sad.
Exactly. Saying he's leaving the EFF.
Yeah. I mean, some people came to the EFF because of him.
But also at the same time, it's that sort of, like you say, maybe, not all relationships are also meant to last forever. But also surely, something can be done to keep on.
Yeah.
Do you find that maybe ego also comes into
absolutely.
Into play?
It does, specifically because you have ownership over the idea. And that's why, like, the ownership of your ideas and your thoughts is something that you have to learn how to, not even control, but learn how to have some sort of, hold on it. Because ego comes because you have ownership, or you feel like you own a specific idea, or you own a specific part of a business. And ego says, I built this. I deserve to have a piece in this. I also did this. There's a lot of I's that's happening in there that builds up your ego to say, if I'm going to let this go, we're going to close it. It's either we go half, or we bend this down. And that's honestly just because you feel like you have ownership over this idea. And that's where I'm like, if you understood, because I think we have to go into the idea of knowing that whatever vision that we have is bigger than us. That if ever someone comes in and can run the other agency better than you, let them. Sure. And I know you've got, it's like, no, but this is my agency. This is almost, since it was a young baby, I was 5 years.
2020.
It's like, this is my COVID baby. But it's like, if someone can run it better than you, and you find that they're literally going to take it at bigger heights than you would have ever had, you need to be able to let go of the idea so much that you are willing to see that other agency grow without you. And I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs have that. They want to see their businesses grow with them. And that's where the ego comes in. It's like, if ever you're doing this for a specific legacy, for a specific vision, you will want to see that vision come to pass, whether you're a part of it or not.
Interesting. Yoko.
Yeah.
Right? I once had an interview, or listen to an interview with one of the co-founders. Apparently from the onset, they had a business coach or someone with this, to do a psychoanalysis of all the founders and study, obviously, their personalities, so that they can better understand each other and also better deal with conflict when it arises. And a lot of us jump into relationships just without
deep end, head first,
which I was like, damn, from the onset when we started, it wasn't a thing of, okay, we had a big fight,
now let's
bring in someone to mediate, it was a thing of, from the onset, we all coming, I mean, if you look at their founders, they're all coming from like all the co-founders from different backgrounds. We all have a way. I mean, there's a black, white guy, model C, car C, or whatever. All of those things coming together. Now we have to build this thing that has the potential, to change how. Which, by the way, I think they've managed to accomplish that. How entrepreneurs, to enable small businesses to be able to transact with ease. But for them, having to achieve that, it took also a certain level of awareness of each other as partners.
Yeah, that's necessary.
So with the experience that you had, would you go that route if you had to start another partnership?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. Honestly, I would start there if I could, because I think with my first business partner, we went into it only knowing each other for 3 months. So there's a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, we got on like a house on fire initially, and was so excited. It was like, you know what, let's do this and this. And it was like, you know, we were going to change the world. And I just remember how excited we both are, or both were, that you weren't thinking about, okay, when we fight, how we're going to resolve this. And it's the same thing as like, you don't necessarily go into a marriage like preparing for divorce, but unfortunately you have to think of kind of, if that happens, what will we do, how will we mediate? And I think it's great that they did that in the beginning, and I would do the exact same thing, because there are certain personality traits that come out of a person when there is conflict that you're like, but this is not the same person from 3 months ago. Why when you're angry you're different? Why when there's conflict you're different? And I think I was different as well. I didn't necessarily know myself to that degree, and I didn't have as much self-awareness. So in certain instances you even react in a way that you surprise yourself, because you've never had this. Like, this is a new Amanda every single day. This is the entrepreneur Amanda. I've never experienced this person before, so I don't know what's going to happen on a daily. So if I had the opportunity to do it again, and I think if I were to go into another business partnership, I would definitely go the premarital counseling route, so that when conflict does arise, or even when we celebrate something, we both know how to go about it, or we're aware of each other, so that it doesn't break us at the end of the day, because then the business suffers when the business partners aren't doing good.
Ultimately, one of the things that you're also passionate about is our beautiful continent.
Oh, love this place. Love it.
Yeah. Where does it come from?
I've got no idea. It comes from the
But
Lord,
I know
honestly.
you've got a sister who's up north somewhere.
Yes. You know what? I honestly think it's just something God has instilled in me. I can't say that it came because I've seen, like, it doesn't even come, my love from the continent doesn't come from seeing it. It doesn't come like, oh, it's so beautiful, I love it. It's not even, that's what I'm saying. I think it's just innate in me to want to see this place flourish. And I think we've got the potential, not even potential, we've got potential, capacity and stamina to, make this continent something that we all want to be in, like the Africa that we want. We can create it by ourselves. Yeah. So I don't really know let me not say I don't know where it comes from. I know it comes from God. I just, it's not something that I conjured up, but obviously it took time to figure out. But I've just always loved this place.
Interesting. And what are your hopes for this place?
Sure. My hope is for everyone to realize their potential, but not only realize it, pursue it, and work on it so much that it makes themselves like succeed in whatever that they do. Because I think that we are such industrious people, and we have the stamina to move ourselves from one situation to another. We just don't have the tools sometimes to do it. So my hope for Africa is really that we can not only realize our potential, but also pursue it and succeed in it.
And how would you say South Africa, from an entrepreneurship sort of perspective, compares to other parts?
Sure. If I even were to rank it, it doesn't rank as high as other countries for me.
Is it?
I don't think so. I think Kenya ranks higher than us. Rwanda ranks higher. Nigeria ranks higher than us. This is personal opinion.
Yeah, before.
Before personal opinion. But because I think South Africans are entitled, that they think they deserve a certain level of help from the opportunities, whereas other countries understand that they're not as privileged, but they'll do it anyway, and they will make sure it succeeds. So I think our entitlement as South Africans, specifically young South Africans, can work to our detriment sometimes. Not that we aren't doing great. Honestly, I think the entrepreneurial generation of now, like, they've got such like stamina, it's like, everyone's trying to be an entrepreneur. First of all, I'm like, are you ready for what comes with it? Because I think the other problem is that the unemployment rate in this country is,
staggering high.
It's really staggering high, and it shouldn't be, which forces then young people in this country to run to entrepreneurship as the next best option.
Of course.
But not everyone is an entrepreneur. Some people are meant to work 9 to 5 until wherever.
And
not that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Millionaires that are working for
Absolutely. And I'm like, you just need to realize that sometimes you don't fit into the entrepreneurial side of things, personality, whatever. Sometimes it's fine to be a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life, and it's okay. Gotcha. But I think the other issue, because the unemployment rate is so staggering, we get into business out of a stomach issue. It's like, politics of the stomach as opposed to a vision issue. There's no vision. There's no passion out of it. It's just, I'm doing this because I need to put bread on the table. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that there is a lifespan to that. There is a cut-off time to where that business can go because it was solving a stomach issue as opposed to a more purpose-led, solution that actually people are having a problem with.
And how do we get to that level as young South Africans, entering the entrepreneurship space?
Yeah, I think solve actual problems, because I think there's a lot of young people who are solving problems that don't exist. Like a cute little t-shirt company, okay. What? I'm not, like
humble beginnings.
I know. I know.
My first business, the first business I ever registered formally, we sold PPE. It was during around 2010. It was the construction boom.
Yeah.
They were building the Ria Vaya
so you needed
systems, and so actually how we even started that business was that my friend at the time, his mother was working for a CEO of a PPE manufacturing company. So we could get the stuff cheap.
Okay.
From then we could sell it on the street. Then the second business was Swiggy Campus Life.
Okay.
And how that idea actually came into being, it was I wanted to create a student lifestyle online magazine. And I commissioned a friend of mine to help me with developing the website, which in retrospect I could do it at that time because I was studying IT. But I hated being behind the computer and writing code and it took forever. Yeah. But I had this really cool sort of logo that I got someone else to do. Then I put it on a t-shirt. And I started. Then it became a
t-shirt.
And in class, economics, when you're being taught about economies of scale, and I could then relate it to the business. To say, actually, for me to make a profit, for example, I need to sell an X number of t-shirts. And the more, even with my suppliers, the more I order, or the larger the quantity, the lesser the cost per unit. Yeah. So I was also getting that practical experience. And it taught me so much about business and negotiating. Because I always say, entrepreneurship or running a business is not something that really you can do well by just reading about it.
Yeah, you have to just do it.
It's like maths. To be good at maths, you have to practice. Yeah. You have to punch that calculator. You have to do the calculations to get better at it. It's not something that you can just read about it or watch a YouTube video and say, I'm going to be the best. Yeah. I'll know how to solve for X. We solve for X by actually doing the actual thing. Yeah. So do not discourage.
No, I'm not.
Those that are starting with t-shirts. Yes, it may, like, for example, it's not a thing that's gonna, like, unless maybe the messaging on the t-shirt
is revolutionary.
Exactly. Or you making it out of mohair. Yeah. The material is like.
But you understand that someone who's going to go to that length. Yeah. Of having that t-shirt, making sure this is the best quality. You're solving a problem. Yeah. I'm saying solve an actual problem. You're saying, listen, people out there buying t-shirts that are not great quality. I'm bringing great quality. People who are not aware of, I don't know, whatever you're putting on the t-shirt, maybe it's some thing you want people to be aware. There's a bigger vision in that. You're just using t-shirts
as a vehicle.
Using t-shirts as a vehicle and not necessarily that's the end all of what you're trying to do. I just want to sell t-shirts. That's it.
Got you.
I'm discouraging. I just want to sell t-shirts and that's it. There could be a bigger vision out of that. And I'm saying, like, when we're talking about t-shirts, I know Tepa Jeans just launched a t-shirt range right now.
Yeah,
we the people
with
with
the
the
people
diversity.
version 2. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Diversity edition.
That's a t-shirt, sure, but quality-wise, messaging-wise, and all of that, there's a bigger vision outside of that.
And you know where the we the people come from, right?
I mean, I know it's political.
Yes, it's a preamble on our constitution.
Yes, we the people of South Africa want to belong to them.
So that's where it really comes from. And like you say, there's sort of a movement.
Yes, so it's not just the t-shirts.
It's pushing to, and what also the brand.
Yeah, exactly. The brand stands for that.
And.
So you see, it's not just the t-shirt. So what I'm discouraging is getting into business, to just solve a stomach problem without a vision.
During COVID-19, someone approached me with an idea to start a t-shirt brand that was written COVID-19.
Hey, what? You see what I mean? You see what I'm discouraging? I can start small, but start with a vision. Yeah. And pursue that vision by all means necessary. If it means that the vehicle changes.
I'm going to challenge you a little bit there, because sometimes you start this thing with this vision. Yeah. That it's going to, revolutionize
the world,
whatever sector, whatever space, and but along the way, the vision, you pivot. For example, let's take your business right now. Yeah. Branding Africa. Yeah. Is it what you thought it would be?
Yes. At the moment. In the next 2 years, probably not. It will evolve. Okay. And I'm aware that vision doesn't change, it evolves. It becomes clearer over time. Got you. I think I had the same vision for the business that I started in 2014 with my business partner. Yeah. It's just clarified further now more than anything. We started was a creative agency. Everything that I'm doing currently, it was somewhat the same, but not really. So I'd say that it will help anyone to know what they're trying to achieve. And it's okay for that thing to clarify itself or to, evolve over time. I'm not saying that right now I'm into branding and then next 3 years I run a strip club. You're going to think, oh yeah, she was lying to us. Because Beyoncé of Branding, next thing you know,
we're pivoting. Hey, remember COVID-19 times we were pivoting?
Yeah, but again, at the end of the day, if you know you're called to be an entrepreneur, the vehicle that you use to be an entrepreneur will change. Today is t-shirt, the next day it's a magazine.
Use that example quite
I don't know, it's just today. It's just today. It's just today. It's just today. Don't ask me weird questions. It's not my vibe, okay? It's not my scene.
Okay. Amanda, as we're about to wrap up, in Isindebele there's a saying, as
okay, meaning?
Meaning you can't share everything. It's your vendor.
Exactly.
I can't still move vendor. Yeah, man. So for young entrepreneurs, that are watching this, I mean, I think this is more, in as much as we did speak about the branding, marketing sort of related topic, but more so, I think it was more entrepreneurial, more entrepreneurship based. Yeah. Any advice, for someone who wants to pursue or who's already on this journey? Yeah. For them just to keep going and to keep fighting the good fight.
It's not going to get easier. Ooh. Sorry to not motivate. It's not going to get easier. Yeah. You're just going to get stronger. Ooh. It doesn't get easier, unfortunately. But you're going to come out better for it. I think you'll learn more about yourself. You'll learn more about the friendships that you have around you. You'll learn how to have boundaries. I think going the entrepreneurial route for anyone, it's it changes your life. You will never be the same again. And that's exciting.
Look into that camera and tell them.
Okay. You'll never be the same again. And that's exciting. What did I say? I forgot. I said. Yeah. I forgot.
It doesn't get easier.
It doesn't get easier. You just get stronger.
You get stronger.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now it's the time for the infamous
Yeah.
Pattern Brands quiz.
Yeah.
Let's see how well you
jelly.
know your brand.
Don't judge me for my answers.
Are you ready?
No. But let's do this.
Are you ready?
I was born ready, I guess.
Ooh, you're born ready. You're born ready. Okay, question number 1.
Don't make it difficult. Go easy on me.
You attended the last 3 yobas, huh?
2.
The last 2?
Yes, the last 2.
Actually, I met you at the second
Yes.
annual. Let's see if you are paying attention that night. Or you were just enjoying
I was
the
there for
drinks
vibes.
that were flowing.
I was drinking water.
Yeah. Let's see if you know what this Pattern Brands thing. I mean, sorry, the Yobas. Yeah, are all about. And which brand won the overall top brand in 2023?
So this is 2024 right now. Is it not Legends? Am I right?
You damn right.
Oh, yes, I'm damn right. I was there. I was paying attention.
Okay, you get a pat. Sure.
I'm going to ace this. I feel good now.
You feel good?
Okay, but don't bring a difficult one just because I said I feel good.
You feel good?
Let's see.
Who is the founder
Right?
of Nike?
Shucks, I know his surname. If that... Something Knight. Right?
Okay.
Okay, give me multiple choice.
Is it Bob Phil?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Bob Knight?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it Phil Knight?
Phil Knight sounds right. I'm going with Phil Knight. Give me a pad right now.
Okay, you get a pad.
I knew his surname, something Knight.
All right. Let's move along. Let's see how well you know South.
Aye.
Bring it back home.
My God.
Who's the current CMO, Chief Marketing Officer
Yes.
of South African Tourism?
My word. She's new.
At
Well,
least.
relatively, maybe a couple of months.
Oh, you know it's a she.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me give you options.
Give me options.
Let's give you options, you know? Is it Thembisi Hloho?
Okay.
Is it Thembisi Tole?
Okay.
Or is it Thembi Mahlangu?
Aye. Number 1, Sihloho.
Are you sure?
No. Give me Thembi Sihloho. Thembi.
Thembisi Hloho?
Yeah.
Thembisi Tole or Thembi Mahlangu?
Aye, Mahlangu. This is a guess. I'm just gonna go with Sihloho. That's the hill I'm willing to die on.
You get a pass.
Oh yes. See, I knew it was she. I knew she started recently. So come on, I'm not.
Actually, she is Thembisi Hloho ni Sithole.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, that's nice.
All right.
Bring it. I've got 3 pets right now, so
Yeah.
can't lose now.
Question number 4.
Yes.
Which brand
Aish.
was named? Actually, its premises or store
Yeah.
was named by Time magazine as one of the places you must visit in 2024.
Yeah. Difficulty levels have risen. What are the options? This one's gonna be a guess, but like, bring it on.
Was Sisulu Botanical Gardens?
Okay.
The Tebe Magugu House? The Makosa stores.
Why I got there's another one.
Okay, let me leave it at that.
I am gonna go with the Tebe Makuga house.
Why?
It seems right.
It seems right.
Yeah, it just has that pet feeling about it.
You get a pet.
You see? just right.
When you watched our previous episode.
No, I know. But that was a guess. I honestly didn't know. But it just seemed right. It could have been that or Makosa, but if you're saying experience-wise, I'd really say Tebe Makuk.
Okay. Last question.
Yes. I gotta ace this. Flying colors.
When was Pattern Brands started? Look at 1, 2 is telling looking away.
I must tell me there. Option number 1.
2012.
That's a long time ago. Okay.
2014. Or
Meaning 10 years.
2016.
2016 would make you what, 8? 2014 would make let's go with the last one, 2016.
You get a pat 5 out of 5.
Give me a star on the forehead now.
Take it. Amanda, you've been a great
Flying
sport.
colours.
You've been a great sport.
Thank you for having me.
You've been a great guest.
Yes, always.
And man, any parting shots? I know you said people can send you DMs.
Yes.
But yeah, any message you want to share that you feel the world needs to hear, be it an entrepreneur, be it a marketer, be it just an ordinary African that's passionate about this.
Sure. Let me tell you something. Let me try be Michelle Obama here. I like, this is a message that I've been saying for the past weeks, months.
Oh.
That the life you so often dream about, you need to believe you can achieve it, and you need to believe that you deserve it. So the life you so often dream about, you deserve to have it.
Go get it.
Go get it.
It's yours for the taking.
It's yours for the the money's already been printed. Go get it.
Yes.
Yes.
Amanda, you've been a great guest once again. Thank you so much for making the time.
Absolutely.
And really, being with us. If you're not here on a Saturday morning, what do you usually do?
I mean, Saturdays vary, but I'm usually just chilling.
I
don't like to do anything on Saturdays.
Or you speak somewhere.
I'm just out there being Beyoncé, speaking engagements.
Yes.
Just being famous.
Love it. Love it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this episode to this point. The 5 people that are watching this right now, I really appreciate
We love you.
Yeah. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on any episode of the Pattern Brands podcast. All right.
Yeah.
It sounds very YouTube-y, right?
It's very, comment, like, share, subscribe.
All right. And don't forget that this episode was made possible by Lerato Agency as well as 1-2 Creations. So if you're looking for marketing, PR agency, digital marketing, you know where to come. If you're looking for content creation, videography services, 1-2 is the one. Okay. For me, Pet Mahlangu ngiti inahailale.
Pat. It's Pat on Brands. Watch how you branded, man. A pat on the back is a pat from the man. Better be branded, man. A pat from the pat is a pat on the